All right, guys, this is Dave Witcher, president of FFL Velocity, and I've got my buddy and business partner, Eric Amati, president of FL Tribe. Say hi, bud.
Partner in crime.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right. So this is just a candid conversation, really. We just, we're doing these leadership calls. I did the first one last week with Ivan, and we for those that don't know, we have a leadership call we do, and we decided that between the two of us, I mean, a lot of things we do in our businesses, we kind of run, by each other and work really close with one another. It's funny because I'm the one actually doing the recording. And when you go back to the very beginning, Eric should be the one doing this, but I'm trying to figure this out so I can, do this input, and so this is kind of fun to have me on this side of the camera and
We're
him on
breaking
that
new
side.
ground, dude. We're breaking
Yeah,
new ground.
it's actually really funny. So I wanted to tell him that, and but I appreciate everything you've done. And if you guys don't know our story, I think that's kind of want to go here. We're going to talk about that just for a second, but then want to jump into maybe a few leadership things, whatever. But we've known each other a long time. Maybe you could maybe share about that. But I came over to Family First Life, and and being transparent, Eric and I talked. There was one other person I spoke to. I won't mention names on here, but that knew, and out of respect, the parent company or the company I was, the practice company I was with, and the founder, honestly, I kind of waited and kind of came over here
Because
undetected,
we
if you
loved him,
will.
man. We,
Yeah,
we we
absolutely
loved
love
him,
him.
you know? Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
still to this day, absolutely. And and so I did that out of respect for him. Not that I was a big deal. It's just that we were an agency owner, and it was just like, hey, I was just trying to do it the right way.
Yep.
And so I came over here in February. I remember calling Eric and saying, "Man, I'm going to this convention." He's like, "Hey, let me know what it's about." He wasn't ready yet, but he called me. I don't remember if you called me or I called you, but I just remember if you'd have talked to me at that convention, I was just stoked out of my mind. So, and then
Yep.
he made that decision. It took him a month or so, to kind of get over here, but he did. And we just decided, look, we're going to work together. That's what works. So, here we are now, and we're blessed because of Eric and I working, closely together and, build something together. We talked about, I think I guess my point is, guys, I think you got to have a running buddy in this business. I think that's an important thing. It was a little different for us. We've talked about this several times. We just kind of said, hey, look, dude, you're good at this. He was good at all these other things that I just didn't have time to really do. And it was either hire somebody or I had Eric. So I was blessed to have that. And then I just would focus on really just going out and selling, protecting families, trying to lead from the front. And it's not that he wasn't leading, it was just in a different way. Right. So anyway, maybe you can talk about your experience of coming here and, kind of how that's worked out. But at the end of the day, we're blessed to, again, be integrity partners. And, he's, without, you know, all these things we have to deal with at some point in the near future, I think that, that's going to happen for him as well. And we work towards getting people there that are, wanting to be there. So, yeah. So, Eric, just tell us maybe a little bit what's on your heart about that transition, kind of what that's looked like, and anything else you want to share, and then we'll just kind of dive into a few other things.
Yeah, dude. Well, shoot, man. I mean, so we've known each other for, I mean, 20 years. I've been in the insurance business literally 20 years. Started when I was 27. I'm 47 now. So, I mean, the whole time I've known you, when I came into the practice company, you were like, I want to say like that year we were the number one team leader in the entire, country. And when I was a
Mm-hmm.
rookie, and we just became like really good friends. And I mean, over the years, we've gone to weddings together, we traveled together, been all over the country together. And so to me, and I think I 100% agree with you. It's like for people that are watching this, you're thinking, okay, well, how do I get my business off the ground, or how do I get my business to the next level? Like one of the best things you can do is find somebody to partner with. Like it doesn't have to be a legal. Like we're not legal partners, right? Like you've got your business, I've got my business, but it's just how we chose to interact with each other. Is hey, shoulder to shoulder, right? And we're gonna talk daily. We're gonna like collaborate on the people we're bringing over here. We're gonna like figure out how we're going to stack our teams, what kind of conference calls we want to have, what kind of training do we want to have, what kind of infrastructure we want to have, what kind of brand do we want to have, culture, all those different things. Like we've created that together,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, there's a little bit of differences here and there. You got your style, I got my style, but at the end of the day, like we work really well together because our values are 100% aligned,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps that our history is so closely aligned too, because we have the same, we're singing out of the same songbook, so to speak, right? As one of my old mentors. Some of you listen to this will know exactly who that is. But anyway, I just I've been blessed. I mean, like, so for me, when I was looking at the different IMOs that I could, because I'd made up my mind I was going to leave, and obviously Family First was like high on my list. But at the same time, I didn't. I'm that kind of guy. You know, Sean always makes fun of me. He's like, dude, you outsmart yourself sometimes. It's too smart for your own good.
Mm.
But like, I just was like, hey, I need to know that I'm making, you know, not just off of adrenaline or passion, but like mathematically this makes sense. And so I actually like went and had a bunch of different conversations with a bunch of different IMO. I remember that was, and you were like so cool because you're just like being super patient about it. Yeah, dude, whatever. I mean, you know, like eventually we're gonna do this together, but you do what you got to do in the meantime, and when the time's right, we'll get it done. And but I'm glad I took that time in a sense because I mean, in a way, I wish I hadn't because we would be a little further along. But at the same time, like it gave me that rock solid certainty that I needed to be able to to tell my story with conviction. And I think that's the number one thing. You know, we were talking about earlier, Dave, like in preparation for this call, about how there's multiple different ways to tackle this business. You know, you can start part time and you know try to make some you know additional money on the side to lift your standard of living. Right? We got thousands of agents that do that. And then you have people that they want to make this their full-time business, maybe even a lifestyle business where it's like, man, you know, I'm tired of showing up and working, you know, 40, 50, 60 hours for the man. I'd like to work maybe a fewer amount of hours for myself and maybe make more money, but be able to like make my own choices and go on vacation when I want to go on vacation and spend time with my family the way I want to do it and roll my life with my people the way that I choose to do it, right? And um and that's what I love. That's what initially attracted me to the insurance business in the first place is that wow, you could really write your own job description, craft your own lifestyle, and really you know build that. And then what we have that I think is unique to Family First Life is that there's a third option, and that third option is to build a multi-million dollar business, an acquisition target, whether it's for Integrity or somebody else. But it's a very unique situation that not only our relationship with Family First Life is not contractual, right? Like I choose to work with Sean as long as I choose to work with Sean, and Sean chooses to work with me as long as Sean chooses to work with me. There's not a there's not a uh,
Yeah.
there's not some marketing agreement that I have to sign that limits what I can do with the business that I'm building, right? And that's a big deal. And you know, like especially as I'm going through the conversations that I'm going through, like when you talk to attorneys, you talk to all these people about like, hey, what can I do with this business? And you realize, man, you can literally do whatever you want with it. Oh, you need to restructure this way. You need to restructure that way. And I don't have to ask anybody's permission. I just go to the state and file the paperwork.
Mhm.
Like that's pretty cool, you know? So, and that's not for everybody, you know? I think that's worth noting. It's like, not everybody needs to be a full-time agent. Part-time's cool. Not everybody needs to build a multi-million dollar business or even wants to, you know? But for the people that do, this opportunity has that extra gear, if you want to call it that, right? Like there is that sixth gear on the column that you can like shift into that gear and really, you know, I was talking to somebody the other day and they were like, well, how, at what level would let's say Integrity, for example, at what level would Integrity be interested in talking to me? And I'm like, well, you know, I don't know what other companies might want to buy you for, but I know for Integrity's standpoint, like they're probably not even that curious unless you're at least profiting, you know, $500,000 to $1 million a year of profit. That's after you pay yourself, after you pay your staff, after you pay your rent, after you pay all your expenses, right? Like you need to be dropping at least that much to the bottom line. It's probably just not that you're just not that big enough, you know, yet. And the fact is that, I mean, I've been on other platforms. I know people on other platforms that are maxing out those other platforms that are doing really well on those other platforms, but they're not, you know, dropping seven figures to their bottom line. You know what I mean? And and the fact is, we've got like, I mean, how many partners we have now? 25, 26 Integrity partners. So I mean, clearly, it's not
Yeah.
like one person hit the lottery. I mean, that's a repeatable thing that can be done. And so it's just a matter of, okay,
Mhm.
uh, do I want to do that? And if I do, then uh, what's the timeline? Like this guy did it in 4 years. This guy did it in 7 years. This guy did it in two. You know, I think Dave, you're the record holder right now, right? Like just a little over 2 years. So some time frame in there, it gives you something to shoot for in a way if you want to do it, right? So I just think it's I don't know, I love that. And I think the other thing that I really love about our culture, and this is Family First culture, but also like I think it vibes really well with me personally, and I know it does with you too, as we talked about it. Is nobody's gonna make you do anything. It's just like, dude, I hate even saying cream rises to the top because that implies like this is better than that. That's not the deal. It's really just more like water finds its own level, dude. Like it's cool. Like roll your way, right? You do you, and like Sean says, hey, I'm not mad at you. You do you, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm rolling this way, and so I'm looking for people that are rolling this way, but I don't want it to sound like that's the only way you can roll. There's 1,000 ways you can roll, and I invite you to roll however it is that you want.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but
No, that's
that's
good.
my yeah. That's what I loved about this, and where I saw, okay, I can plug into that. There are systems that work. There's things that you can duplicate. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't have to come up with the 72-page manual of whatever, right? I don't have to re-engineer anything. I can just like plug in. I can plug my people in, right? And then, but we can also have the freedom to iterate and do different things, and it's so exciting to be like now. I mean, shoot, this is two years, and for me, 2 years and 3 months, right? And to see over that time how we've, you know, opened up telesales, opened up virtual sales, opened up Medicare, opened up now rolling out health insurance, rolling out supplemental insurance. It's just like all these things that, like, wow, this is like a massive evolutionary year for Family First, and you know,
Yeah.
none of it's made in half measures. It's like, hey, we'll just try this. It's like, no, we're we're going virtual. Let's have a website. Let's have training, and before you know it, you've got hundreds of hours of training. You've got, I mean, multiple boot camps. I personally do on my site. You
Yeah.
got websites popping up everywhere, 24/7 training. Something like Nina and Hayden, that FFL sales team. Like you can just hop in there. I mean, anytime you want. And there's somebody on the phone with a customer live. I mean, that's it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Other companies don't have any of that stuff. But I mean, they might have this or they might have that, but to have that entire arsenal, right? So if somebody wants to learn this way, they can. If somebody wants to learn that way, they can. There's a place for everybody to plug in the way that they want to plug in. I love that.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny because Sean, it's not funny, but Sean was alluded to that just recently. He was like, "Hey, if we'll just use the systems that are here. You work hard and follow the systems. Don't overthink it." I always believe that way. I think the cool thing is, like you said, there's different personalities and things like that. Eric and I just happen to work really well together, and it works, right? So, and it's funny because I was sharing, the structures are similar, the profits and different things that we do are similar, but they're also different, and that's what's great about it. But I look at it as we did it together. Like I don't, I just kind of feel like, hey, it's a team thing. I don't believe that. Would it have happened? I don't know. I can't go back and change that. Only God knows
Oh,
that. But
I can say for a fact, there's no way that the tribe would be where we are had we not been partnered with you.
right, and
You
I feel the
know,
same way, 100%.
Yeah, for a fact, because there's not like your thing. Don't overthink it, right? Like, don't think, just work. Like, go do. That's been massively helpful to me because I'll get in that paralysis of analysis. Which one do I do? And I think the other way around, like if it's like, hey, Dave, have you thought about doing this, right? And it's like, man, that's a good idea. Let's do that. So I think, like, we've really benefited a lot from working with each other, and I
Yeah.
think finding people that you can partner with, that you're good at things that they're not, and they're good at things that you're not. But what you're committed to together is hold each other accountable. And I think that's something that you and I do really well together is like, hey, how many people did you interview this week? How many people did you, contract this week? What are you doing with the people that are stuck? And we're constantly trying to learn from each other. And then we're reaching out to other people. Now we've built all these relationships
Hmm.
across the company, right? Say, hey, Zach T, what are you doing? Andrew, what are you doing? Grady, what are you doing? And then bringing that back to each other, but I don't wake up and wonder, hey, is Dave dialed in today? Ever.
Yeah, right.
I know you're dialed in, and I'm
Yeah,
dialed in, and it's like
yeah.
that builds trust, and it builds reliability, and it builds consistency in a way that there's just other people that I work with that, I mean, it's a coin flip. Maybe they're working today, maybe they're not, and
It's
that's,
true.
again, it's cool, but that's what you want to find if you want to build something serious.
Yeah, it's funny. I was doing this BDM a couple days ago, right, in Kansas City, I'll share this with you because you didn't notice I haven't had a chance to share everything with you. And we get a chance to talk. Well, I mean, everybody talk a couple times a week. Maybe it's not. I mean, we're both working.
Not
It's
every
not
day
like
anymore. Yeah.
right, right. It used to be. But anyway, we're doing calls together, whatever. But I was up in front of some folks, and I didn't share. But you know how I'm emotional, so I got up, and somebody asked me about integrity, right? And I shared that moment and what it felt like. And I think I shared this with you, but I just remember in that moment, it was like, man, I just want somebody else to feel this. Well, as I did that, I thought about you in that moment, and I'll just be honest, it'd been going for, I don't know, 12 hours plus that day. I was just in this moment, and I said, and I got real emotional, and I'll try not to do that now because if I do, really, I probably will. But I said, man, I'm so excited, really more for Eric. Like I know it's coming in the here in the near future. I don't know when. I can't say. I don't violate anything, but I know that it's coming eventually, right? And I said that, but the thing that's so cool about that is because I love his kids, man. Like I know I love him and I love his family, but the truth is, yes, my family's life changed, but it really doesn't matter. And when I think of um, those two kids and what they mean to me, even though I don't get to see them all the time, it's like I'm Uncle Dave, right? It just
Yeah.
knowing Brooks and them, it's a powerful thing, and then, Loa's, different than Ari as far as engagement in the business, but I know it's going to change her life too, and so it's just exciting to see that happen for families and knowing that that can happen. So now it's us. It's like, we can go down a list, but Ron is obviously close to us. Obviously him and Shelly mean a lot to us. And there's so many other people, but I don't want to start naming names. You guys know who you are, and we care about everyone.
You're gonna get a rabbit hole.
Right, right. I don't know. So, but what I want to say is on a leadership call, this is kind of how it went, right? But I think what we're trying to say is, and we were just talking this in the beginning, is there are those three options, right? And what we're looking for, and velocity is one. Really, Tribe is, I see it as one, but we're separate companies, but at the same time we're the same. So we work together, and but we're looking for those guys that, and maybe they're not even a VP yet or an EVP or whatever. We're just looking for guys that want to do what we do, which is wake up with the
And
passion to
girls
go. Yeah, guys and
and
girls. Yeah,
ladies.
sorry. Yeah, I think that's a general statement. I hope you guys know that if you're a female, you know how I am. But everybody that works with us, if you have that passion to want to work, and I'm not saying you got to work 80, 90, 100 hours a week. That's all I'm saying. But you want to build a business. You're not afraid of going out and working, whatever that looks like, recruiting, doing telesales in the field, getting on the calls and supporting what we're doing and just growing the business. We're looking for those people. So we're going to actually, and we just talked about this, we're going to have some people that we're going to work, closer with that we know who they're in to do this thing. And so anyway, but I think going back to what you're talking about just real quick, I think those three steps when we're in these business opportunity meetings, which I think if you went to one this week and you're in a location where you have a place, or if you don't, guess what? Go down the street and go get a room, and just keep doing them week in, week out. And if we do that, you see what happens. I mean, I was in a Roanoke. I'm sure this, but I saw Frank say I'm coming into Roanoke. He's leaving on a later flight. I'm getting in it. I left at I don't know 5 o'clock this morning or something. And I got in, and he's there at my airport right here in Roanoke, little airport. I said, Dave, and I turn around, and there's Frank's. We go talk, and he goes, dude, you had it wasn't a ton of our agents there, but the thing is, there were a lot of new people, and I had agents out of town, but they invited a bunch of new people. He was just telling me about the excitement of that. But anyway, long story short, these business opportunities are huge. That's how I remember businesses we came from. That's how we grew it. It's just getting in front of people, shaking hands. What are your thoughts? You did a couple of them. Maybe touch on that a little bit. We'll kind of wrap this up. But I just want to, over the next few minutes, but some things that we're just trying to do with our teams to get better.
Yeah, I think it's going. So I'm going to come back to that in a minute, but I think one of the things you said that's so key is, what you and I were just talking about maybe an hour ago, is uh, finding people that in our group that are wanting to build that multi-million dollar business, because it's a different plan of attack and it's a different level of intensity that's required to do that than the person who's building a lifestyle business. And and I mean, hear me when I say, dude, there's nothing wrong with lifestyle. But in fact, I mean, when I got into the business, that is the reason I'm in the insurance business, because I wanted to build, well, I wanted to help people because my friend Kristen, I think most of you heard that story, but I saw it as a vehicle where I could create a lifestyle that I wanted to live. And a lot of times a
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle business is about things that you are not willing to do, right? For example, like for me, and I'm not saying this right or wrong, but for me, for years, it was like, dude, I'm not working on the weekend. Like that, I'm just not. Like I want to work less than 40 hours. I do not want to work on the weekend. I'd rather not even work on a Friday, right? But Monday through Thursday, I'd like to be. And so I had it crafted, and I was like, this is the lifestyle that I want. And so I can figure out how to get my production in that time, and I can teach other people how to get that production in that time. And so it was about aligning with people that had the same kind of, hey, I don't want to be in this pool of people that have to do this, for example, right? And so if you are watching this and you're a lifestyle person, you're like, hey, look, I got no interest in building to integrity. I don't want to do any of that. I want to build a lifestyle business. Good. What you should do is figure out, here's what I want to do. I'd like to work, you know, on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? And get $10,000 worth of production and then take the other 4 days off and be in my band, do whatever I do, whatever it is that you're about, right? Figure out what it is, how you want the business to fit into your life, and then get with other people who also have that same type of vision. Man, wouldn't it be great if we had this and we could take and craft that, get a power team of people together that you can hold yourselves accountable to, not working as hard and doing all that, because that's part of the lifestyle business, right? At the same time, I am about building this empire, right? Dave's about building this empire. And so for us, like, we need to find those people that want to do that and get with those people. And we don't want to have the lifestyle people have that pressure of, like, because building a multi-million-dollar business. I was just reading Entrepreneur on the plane, Entrepreneur magazine. And I was talking about this founding team, and for them, they were like, dude, that's all about what am I willing to do, right? It's all about, like, dude, there is nothing I'm unwilling to do. I mean, it's ethical and legal, but dude, I will work weekends, I will travel, I will be away from my family, I will whatever, right? Because I'm committed to building this thing, right? And so some of you vibe with that, some of you don't vibe with that. Wherever you are, that's good. It's just a matter of, like, we want to concentrate with people that are we want to concentrate with people that are on that page, because that's the page that we're on. That's all that is, right? And so you got to figure out what page you're on and get with people that support that, and we'll support whatever, right? So now, going back to the business development meeting or the business opportunity meetings, right? I I had the same experience you did, Dave, where I felt like, man, I reconnected with something. I'm so glad Sean asked us to do these, because I've been doing mine entirely on Zoom. I've been doing mostly recordings, even, right? Where, like, I would do some live, but really very few. Like, I'm just being super honest. I had recorded different versions of them that I would do live, right? And then I would share those recordings. And then I had, like, a studio version that I would kind of, like, update every 3 or 4 months and be like, okay, this is the new opportunity video, Eric's video. And you can see
Hmm.
it, it's on my website. And so we'd tell people, like, when we would interview them, it's like, hey, I'd love to talk to you. Before you talk to me, watch this video so you're kind of up to speed on everything that we're doing. And that has worked, right? But there's something missing from it, that meeting with these people in person. And I wasn't as lucky as you to have, like, a big crew. I had 14 people in Omaha, and then last night I had five. Like, it was really little. And I found out later they forgot to put it on the website, so it wasn't on the corporate website. And the one place that they did have it, they didn't have the address. So people were texting me going, "Hey, is there one happening in Louisville?" And I'm like, "Yes, yes, I'm here." But either way, because the five people that were there, man, we had such a great time. It was so interesting. It was like, dude, every single person that was there, like, they got something that they needed. One of them was considering getting in the business. One of them was in the business, but kind of, like, new. One of them had been in the business for 2 years, right? And one of them was one of our guys that actually works with Shannon. You know, and it was just neat because, like, with all those varying things, but being able to just sit there and talk, and afterwards, going to get a sandwich or whatever, and then the one guy going, okay, man, well, I'm all in. I'm excited and I'm all in. And the one guy that had been here for 2 years was like, just kind of identified something that he'd been struggling with, that he was able to be like, hey, like, that was really helpful. I have a plan of attack now on this thing that I was kind of stopped on, right? And to me, I'm like, dude, this is and it just felt great, to be with people, to hug their neck, break some bread with them, and really see
Hmm.
the difference that you putting your life into somebody else can really have. And so, like, Ron and I were talking. I mean, we're gonna be doing them here in the Austin office, at least every other week, if not every week, going forward, in person, and just really advertising around, like, everywhere. Putting the ad out on Facebook and Instagram and everything. Like, hey, come and check this out. We're doing it. And if we have one person show up, great. If we have 10 people show up, great. But it doesn't. That was the biggest eye opening thing that for me was that oh, even though both of them were under 15 people, right? They were both really powerful. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and Sean said that before, he's like, I think his opportunity meeting where he got in the business, he was talking about basically like three or four guys being there,
Yeah.
but they recruited Sean Mike, and Sean Mike's responsible for, I mean, over $1 billion worth of lifetime premium, right? So, I mean, that's a
Mm-hmm.
good recruit, right?
Heck
Find that one
yeah.
guy. So, I mean, I think that's, not, to me, that it was reconnecting with something that I didn't realize I had been disconnected with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, and I think we've talked about. I was talking to Robbie and Mike Curry down in Charlotte. So I've been telling for it seems like months. Hey, do one, and I'd go down and we'd do something every but they.